Okay then. So, get the music started. Never mind. Oh, it's about, okay. Oh, that is. Okay. So I'm updating Hodag. I'm just gonna do the updates that need to happen before finals because Hodag didn't qualify for finals, so I just gonna bring it for a grudge match. But I want to change the weapon assembly, like this whole bit. I want to change the pulley. I actually never added the pulley that I used for some of the fights into the CAD. I should probably do that at some point too. And I want to add UHMW plows to the front. Actually, I think I might want to do the UHMW plows first because I'm going to have to order that UHMW. I'm going to have to show the top plate. We're going to do a new part. Gonna be needed. So I was gonna have them mount to these hulls at least for now. And it's basically gonna be UHMW plowed, so that way they can only hit the weapon assembly, so what happens in the Skippy fight doesn't happen again. I know that I haven't actually posted the video, but in order to get ready for finals, I have to do this before I post it. Part. Edit that part. I'm gonna for something. Eventually, I want to determine the thickness of UHMW. I'm gonna probably need to be a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch, so it's gonna, I think, probably 3/8 of an inch. I feel goofy, but. Because I want it to be kind of centered on this part. I'm trying to think of the best way to create a plane. Actually, no, I want it centered. So we're gonna. I don't remember if it'll let me create a reference geometry based on there's that because I wanted it to be parallel to that. I don't want that edge, I want this. I want it Because if it can be centered on this. Parallel to that. Here? Be close enough, I think. Right. Plane. Create a sketch. Or the rough sketch. God, I didn't want to click that vertex. That make go all the way out here. Yeah, I think if it just goes to the edge of the that way it comes out all the way. I think I actually want, before I do that again. That's the whole thing about my I did with Hodag is I made it this weird amalgamation of, oh hey, there's Jared. How's it going? Working on egg. They don't. Because the Skippy fight, it got absolutely demolished. So I'm trying to create something that prevents bots from coming all the way up on here. Creates feels a little small. There. Want to keep this at an angle, but I don't think I want too much fun. Creating holes for the screws is gonna actually end up might make her. Yeah, mounting this is gonna be a interesting endeavor, which makes me want to push this out more, because then there's less material I have to go through the top and get to that. I did not train that edge. Beetle direct drive, tough thing to do. Yeah. Are we talking about for the weapon or for the drive? I didn't have too much trouble. I think having the wheel guards helps a lot for the drive. Oh, drift wide weapon. I apparently didn't read it all. Yeah, the thing is, it's not supposed to get hit directly, so I'm hoping that it actually works. But also, with this mechanism, it's direct drive. It's pretty much the only option. I couldn't think of a way that other than direct drive for the weapon to work well. Yeah, but yeah, the thing is, that's to slide, and if I did like a belt, it would be, I'd have to have what the belt is on also move. So just having wires come down was the easiest way to do it. Yeah, the problem with the weapon really wasn't the fact that it was direct drive, because when it failed, the whole weapon assembly went with it. So the whole structure here just was obliterated. Honestly, in that fight against Skippy where it got completely decapitated, I could probably still reuse that motor if I redid the wires. Looks kind of tiny. Seeing how that looks. But yeah, because kind of realizing that's still pretty far away from the engine. It's back here. Yeah, I mean, it needs to work just enough. It doesn't need to be a huge thing. The idea is this is going to be UHMW and can prevent them from coming too far up. I can sort of pin them in place. Sometimes SolidWorks works in. About try to remember what screws I need. These are 4mm. I'll have to go in and change it later and double check. I have to, because I don't feel like I'm not gonna go to measuring on stream. That's gonna be through all, because screws got to go through, and then get a rough idea. I'll have to go back. I'll have to double check the heads, but heads are definitely not. But I always forget how to do it. I always hate it when it's always on stream when I forget how to use SolidWorks. do it the dumb way, the brute force way, and just about. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Confusing. Is it because of the robot or because it's SolidWorks? Because I know you don't you use Blender for your CAD? I imagine if I had something like that is what, yeah, SolidWorks. I mean, whenever I try to use a different software other than SolidWorks, I get confused. Yeah, I don't even know how this would work if I try to do it in Blender. This assembly had so much to take in. Yeah, this is a pretty complicated assembly. There's a load time to it. For now, we're to fine. I always try to do it, and it always yells at me. Does it actually line up? Even it doesn't matter actually. Oh, I don't. Assemblies. Does that line up with the holes? It does line up. Word. That's what it'll end up looking like. And bring that all the way down. Go to the side. That's about how much will be exposed when it punches forward. I put this red feature to show where the weapon blade is. That way I don't have to like rotate it to see where. Yeah, it is a regular 2822 motor. And on a Beetleweight. It's because it has, with the second motor, I thought about using like switching to like Peter's Repeat Robotics one, but honestly, like the assembly it's on fails before the motor does. So we'll see. I was considering the weapon to the motor. It just sort of sits on there. It's press fit on there. There's no screws or anything. Or there's just a screw to keep this hub together because there's a TPU hub and then a ring essentially, and it's sort of pressed on there. With it being mounted that way hasn't been a problem, but if it gets hit, if there's like a side hit, it has come off of there. But when that happens, other things tend to break. A full combat ant. So, what weapon are you gonna use for your ant? Because yeah, I've made a couple ants. I haven't. All right, actually, I've really just only made 2, or unless you count the plastic ant, you need to. Actually, I want to save this as a new. Is the drastic changes. I don't want to everything. Full. So have you done like plastic ants before? If this is your first. Form of vert. I mean, vert's a pretty safe bet because they do well. I think I like verts because they kind of throw people in the air, and it's kind of hard, so they end up getting the better end of hits. I definitely like more of control bots. Bots that are if the weapon goes down, I'm not SOL. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how good you are at driving. I would say like a more traditional disc vert is good if you know how to drive, but if you're less good at driving, then you might want to do like a drum or beater bar or something. I always happens when I go back and change things. I end up doing the jankiest stuff possible. Try to change. It got angry with me because it ended up. Oh my gosh. My cats are fighting. Stop growling, you guys. I'm changing this part so it's not entirely one piece. Where did you have did you have Pablo Escobar at Bet Spots? Was that you? Or is that someone else? I'm usually pretty good at SolidWorks. I think it's just when people are watching me, you know? Not like beating what side screw. Yeah, it's like there, there's in like most things I can do pretty quickly, but I think 4 million probably makes the most sense. You guys price these, but it might be. Yeah, because I'm instead of having the part here, I'm making it. Oh, Utah. Okay. Oh, a Bet Spots kit. Yeah, yeah, because there's a guy I was talking to who his first event, he had a drum spinner at event here in Wisconsin, and he was like talking about how he's worried about my ant that I brought, and it was just a ant that it was like a malice plant that I just downloaded quick, and then he ended up going undefeated for the plastic ants. I'm like, damn. But yeah, drum spinners are pretty good. I in the during the winter I was gonna work on a drum spinner, but it's gonna be a UHMW one. I was gonna try to make a robot without using a 3D printer. And I was without a 3D printer or without a what am I trying to say? Yeah, I don't know which I don't remember which kit is. Oh, the drum kit. Yeah, I don't remember which kit's the Bet Spots drum kit because I've seen a lot of different like kit drums. You know what? We're just gonna. Oh, up to deleted it. Yeah, the idea. I mean, UHMW. I think would be the way to do it. And I mean, people do it with mixed results. I was gonna use basically UHMW like kind of body, and I was gonna use a FingerTech beater bar. Yeah, it was gonna be a beater bar. That's what it was. And then I was gonna just use forgot what it's gonna say. And the top and bottoms, I was probably gonna use polycarbonate. It was gonna be a little jank, and I think some of the parts are gonna be not super pretty. Yeah, I'd have to take a look because I know I'm mostly familiar with. I've seen a lot of the Necessary Evil kit. I didn't know he had a drum. Or I don't. I guess I didn't pay attention to his plastic ant kits that. Break it. Oh yeah, this is not. Got rid of it. The Necessary Evil. It's a wedge kit that he has that Joseph has. It's just most of the time it's 2 forks and 4 wheels. I've seen it at a lot of events out here in Wisconsin. He actually brought it to a event over in Minnesota a couple of weekends ago, and he ended up qualifying for MRCA finals with it because his rank from last season was so good that I just needed to like go to one of it. It sounded like he had plans to like add something to it, but I'm not sure. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I do remember Joseph Betts talking about working on a spinner. Oh, by the technical name. That was. Hang on here. Trying to remember what the heck this was. Oh, NE 2.8. Okay, yeah, the NE is Necessary Evil. That makes. I didn't realize that it was. I think. Hey there. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't think about the fact that probably on the website it's called something. Urgent. Pictures. Trying to merge it to the wrong box. What happens when nope. Oh, fracted. All right then. Trying to figure out why it's not merging. There it is. No, I don't want it to merge that. That's probably why. It's trying to merge to the other side. Okay, now it doesn't look. Oh, it's because I changed this chain. It's 7:30. You guys don't get fed till 8. I didn't realize there's no dimensions on this. This is just freaking all vibes. Oh yeah. I cleaned up my mess. I can actually change things. Vertical. Well, I did want to make. Go linear. Okay. Going back to what I was doing because I need basically because I had it 3D printed. It created layer lines this direction going up and down, and it immediately broke. It actually broke before I even got into a fight. It broke while weapon testing without even hitting anything. And it was like two 3D printed parts that were like screwed together. So now I'm instead gonna have these so they can be printed kind of flat down, and then I'm gonna use spacers going between them, and it should be a little bit much more durable than what I had going on before. Because for some reason it doesn't like the idea of me cutting through two different bodies. That simple. And 5 from each of these. That way it keeps it at a good spot. Feels so small. Actually cut. What I want to replace the the D2822 with, I want to replace it with a Peter's new hub motor, his Antweight hub motor. That way, it's not so much because I think I need it to survive hits. I think I'm more worried about the fact that it'll be able to mount. The motor can be mounted on both sides. That way, I'm relying less on these spacers. Because this one side right here, there's just a bearing. I'd rather have like a whole thing. Should probably actually make sure that who's making know who is. Also, I didn't really. I should. I don't know why I'm overthinking this, but I'm gonna do this the right for entity. Yeah. And then I'll just do a separate part that is. Also, if I do spacers, it'll be a little bit easier to make changes in the future. I should figure out what's going on. Oh, I think what I did is I changed the size of that hole for some reason. I did it in the goofiest way possible. Because that's what happens when I change things. Like when I do things right the first time. If I make a part start to finish, I have the best etiquette as far as making parts. But the moment I have to go in and change stuff, it gets real messy. I'm going to check in the assembly. Oh, we're not even close to it. This is a combat robot. It's a spinner. It's a 3-pound robot that fights other robots. It's radio controlled. It has a spinner that punches forward in order to hit its opponents. Today I was making some changes to it because it wasn't working so great. I added this part, which is meant to keep the other opponent from going too far on top of me. I changed this part because of how it was fabricated. It created problems for me. The other thing, I didn't want to move the battery. Not that it matters. Where is my, where did I put the, why is it two? Oh, that's that weapon. Did I make 2 weapon pulleys? Did I name 2 things weapon pulleys? No, this is 2 separate. I have to. Why that's there? That's not the pulley I want to change. That pulley's staying the same. I have entirely too many parts in it. Tripping. Did I not also not save it? Static pulley. I didn't even. Oh, I didn't have Hodag in the name. Hey there. Um. And this is where a timing belt goes into. This I forgot to change. I forgot to replace this part, which is just a regular pulley, with this part in the assembly. This is basically creates a static end for the pulley mechanism. But I need to change this. Actually, I change. Well, I can't. I change it to 2. Okay, that ends up doing that. But I think the best way, because I want to do basically the same thing, but I want it to switch direction. Have it here. Trying to think of the best way to do it without trying to basically recreate the whole thing from scratch. If I try to mirror it, will it end? Already going the right way. This. I also wanted more than one, so I had options on how to. That way it's not like, oh, this is the only way I can mount it. So I don't have to like rotate it nearly as many times. Actually looks kind of cooler that way. That's what's important, right? Looking cool. There's other part. Oh, I need a spacer. Do I want to do? Okay, so debating. Yeah, I think I just want to do something simple with the. Just do screws threaded into a plastic part. Not gonna overthink it. Brow letter. Cats. Sorry, I was trying to diffuse the situation. They were in a Mexican standoff. Hey. Hodag V2 weapon spacer. That's not what I wanted to create. Sketch on the face. Keep it stupid simple. I know that this isn't the same as this one, but I realized at some point in time I'm probably gonna want to make that. I might make it. I might change my mind and make it 3mm though. Actually, I think I'm already changing my mind and gonna make. Because I don't think this is a feature that needs that. Well, I could be wrong. I guess I'll F around and find out. Seven. That should be fine. If I do up to surface, will this work properly? But yeah, it's gonna essentially be like that, and two of those. And I'm just gonna have screws coming from the outside and just screwing right into the plastic to sort of keep it. Two parts. It should work a lot better than what I had before. I feel kind of silly. I didn't think of it sooner, to be honest. Oh, there's some other things I want to change that I won't change before MRCA finals, but I still should just get around to it. Because the bottom plate is currently gonna is all aluminum, but I want to change it so that so that's 3D printed, because that bottom part being entirely aluminum is actually insane. An insane amount of weight, way more weight than we need. It created an interesting situation where it actually is very bottom heavy, which made self-writing pretty automatic. Oh, that's how I did it. Is that really how I did this? 0.23 inches from. I think it barely didn't fit, so I don't actually have to change it in 0.04 because that moved it more than I thought. I made that bigger because I noticed on my brushless motors on the repeat compacts that this part, there was like scratches on it, meaning that the paint was coming off from rotating on this. So I'm like, maybe it needs a little bit more space. It needs a little bit more breathing room. This was back part was also initially round, and I had to change it to this because the 3D print quality was kind of bad. I may end up changing the sides because this shape, this isn't a flat shape. So and I like to 3D print things with the side that gets hit down, but so I can't print this with this side down, which is annoying. I have to print it a different way. But it took me a lot of effort in order to get it to do that sweep. But debating if I want to go back and change it. Yeah. Trying to prioritize what I want to change next. I made the changes that I need to make. I made the changes in CAD that I need to make before finals, but I haven't made all the few changes. Well, another thing I want to do is I want to change this wheel, because currently this wheel is in the way of a lot of the electronics, and I want to push it outward. If I say, let's say if I sure I'll put in here. Oh yeah, that. Say I do that. Ooh, I broke everything. Not what I meant. I'm gonna save everything before I break everything. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see if I flip this out to the outside. For now, we're gonna suppress this. They can't. Like, how much TPU do I end up having? I rarely make things transparent. Okay, so if I do that, there's actually still a bit of TPU protecting it. And obviously I'm changing the base plate anyways. But, because like I mentioned, I was going to 3D print it instead of make it aluminum. That still has some protection for that tire. And it creates more room that's less, like, there's more room for all the electronics and stuff. Which is probably going to save me a lot of headache in general. So I might end up doing that. I am obviously going to have to switch out the sides and change them, which is fine. Unassembling them is going to be a pain in the butt because I super glued these in. Because as you can see, there's no nut or anything in here. I just super glued this shaft in there. And it worked better than it should have, and then you'd think it would, but it worked. But yeah, if I do, actually, that's not even the correct distance. It's actually going to be further in. Oh, because it's the wrong side, so it's actually actually what that would. I mean, I guess it makes sense that it would be protected considering the other wheel is protected. I don't know why I felt the need to change that, but I more or like felt the need to double check it because I'm like, wait, there should be more material here anyways. What am I talking about checking if it's protected? But yeah, that's what it's going to end up looking like. It's probably going to be mounted to the base plate instead of this because the base plate's no longer. I'm not changing too much because I might call the stream at 8 o'clock. I got to feed the cats and do some other stuff. But yeah, because I did the changes I need to make immediately. I'm going to circle back. I think next week is when I'm going to work on this stuff. The other stuff I'm going to work on this that I'm showing you right now. With it, I'm going to change the sides and probably start changing the bottom plate. That's definitely going to be next. Although, actually, I thought about changing this. Is on one of the. I haven't put out the Hodag video, but it's something I mentioned. Is I want to change the weapon diameter because this weapon diameter is currently 2 inches. Extending it out to 2.5 because that would open up a lot of options for me. So I might end up actually doing that tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next week. What is it? Whoops. Oh, I know what I knew. Problem. I should have put this in the assembly with this. That's the mistake I made. I should have made it in this assembly. I made it in the top level assembly. Can I add it to that assembly? What inspired the name Hodag? So, as is obvious, I'm Team Cryptid Robotics, and I'm from Wisconsin, and Hodag is a cryptid from Wisconsin. It's up in Rhinelander. It's like basically a complete joke of a cryptid. I don't know what. We're gonna have to just. But yeah, Hodag is just a cryptid. It's kind of a joke cryptid. Like apparently 1800s, it was like a big hoax that they created, but the city of Rhinelander just ran with it. So, being a team from Wisconsin called Team Cryptid, I felt obligated to make sure that I grabbed the name Hodag. Yeah, the name doesn't really have anything to do with what type of bot it is. Other than MRCA finals, this I'm hoping to get this out to an event maybe in January, but we'll see if that ends up happening. The version 2 out in January. Oh, Northern Illinois too. I mean, Rhinelander is pretty far north. It's not like being from Wisconsin, like the Hodag isn't something like, and not Rhinelander is not something like people talk about a bunch. Like if you're from Rhinelander, yeah, it'd be weird if someone didn't know about the Hodag. What's funny is because when I walk around wearing this Hodag shirt and with a robot named Hodag, Everyone asks if I'm from Rhinelander, and we're like, no, we're just from Wisconsin. We're not specifically from Rhinelander. Now there's going to be some kid from Rhinelander that's going to make a robot, and he wants to name it Hodag, and it's going to be taken. They're going to be really disappointed. Change the really not. Oh, make this 0.5. Oh, actually, I don't even have to change anything else. Well, I don't have to change anything else in this assembly. If I go back here, I have to change the front, obviously, because the front is very much. Yeah, because that's going to cut into that front. If I don't, obviously. And also, if I go back, it's all this was precisely done. I mean, to be honest, this part, I was planning on pushing it up anyways. Actually, shit. Sorry, didn't mean to swear, but I didn't realize that. Oh, that actually doesn't quite hit it because it doesn't actually move this far back, even though it looks like it does. Because there's a feature that's not currently shown because of I make janky designs, but essentially there's a hook here. That hook that ends up where the wires go, the wires end up colliding with this. So by just having it not go as far back, I think we'll fix that. Oh wow, I'm really surprised that making the weapon blade longer is actually a lot more straightforward. Do need to reprint the front though, and the wedge. Unfortunately, the wedge I have is no longer used because this wedge either, or I could cut the wedge, I guess. I don't know how to cut titanium, but once I figure out how to cut titanium, then we're in business. Yeah, tune. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there. Thanks for watching. This is a lot more engagement than I'm typically get on these. I say that this is actually the second week I did this. Next week, like I said, I'm gonna work on Hodag again. The week after that, I'm not sure which one I'll do. I might still be Hodag. Eventually, I'm gonna end up working on. There's the beater bar I mentioned. Eventually, I'm gonna probably start working on that on stream. And then the week before MRCA finals, I think I'm gonna have a video where I do more of a finals prep, and then the week after that, it'll be like a post finals thing that I have special thing that I'll have planned. So